Thank you all. Yeah, so 47 years in business, that's a pretty long time. And yeah, it's true that a lot of the reason why individuals end up leaving us is because they end up getting deceased, which is crazy. So what I want to share with you is how you can have this be implemented in your practice. How can you work on client retention? And it all begins with just having that conversation, talking with your clients to find out what are their needs, what are their goals, what is it that they're looking to achieve. So I just want you to take a moment, just think to yourself, maybe there's a cafe, maybe there's a deli, maybe there's some restaurant or place that you go to that you really enjoy, right? You go in there, maybe the first time you went in is like a new restaurant, a new cafe. You walk in, they greet you warmly, they take note of your name, they give you the product that you want, they're happy that you're there, they really enjoy you being there. But then as time passes, they kind of forget about you, right? There's promos for new people. There's specials for new clients that come in. And soon enough, they forget your name, they forget your order, they don't really care about you. And then a competitor opens. And you're like, well, let me just check this place out. You go there, you're greeted really warmly, right? They really appreciate that you're there. They take note of your name. And this is the service that continues to happen over and over again of them actually appreciating you. You stay with them, you're a loyal client because you feel like you're part of their family. And this is what I want to help you guys with, is understanding how can you build that client retention? How can you make sure that your clients feel appreciated? Because your clients are dealing with so many different businesses in their life, right? Probably hundreds, if not, maybe dozens of different businesses. Yet when you think to yourself, what business regularly comes top of mind that you want to refer someone to, or you want to talk about, is like, oh man, this business is incredible. It's probably only 5 to maybe 10 businesses. It's just a small handful. So how is it that you can make sure that your business is in that inner circle in those individuals' minds? I think we've all experienced this, right? I'll have a couple examples in a moment where you've been the loyal client only to get the email saying, hey, prices are going up, or we no longer can offer that special rate to you. And you kind of feel as that loyal client, as the person that's out in the cold. But yet when you look over, you notice that the new client has the red carpet rolled out to them, right? They're the VIP. So some examples I think we'll kind of unfortunately be familiar with is, save this much on your internet service only for new clients, right? New customers only, not for the loyal clients. So people start thinking to themselves, what is it worth to actually stay with this company? Maybe I should always be shopping around because it's always the new customers that are getting this deal, that are getting this special treatment, that are feeling like they really matter. So what is it that you can start doing in your practice to understand what that client needs, to remove friction points with them so that they end up being a client with you for life? Because that's the goal, right? Especially in the work that we do, it's helping people improve their lives. They're always going to need some further modification, some further adjustment to help them continue to achieve their goals. When I found these statistics, it really blew my mind that 59% of customers will drop after a few bad experiences and 70% after just one bad experience, right? So you spend your entire time, as the example I was saying with the cafe that initially loves you and recognizes your name and knows your order, to then one day they just don't. Then that person's left going, where else should I go, right? Like where else can I be better served? And on top of that, 23% of churn, customer loss, happens because of poor onboarding. So I know that's always a challenge of like, all right, how can I get this new client in? Spend a lot of marketing dollars to bring in this new person, but how can I make sure that they're properly onboarded so that they understand the services that we have to offer, the expectations of what we're able to do for them, and that timeline so that they continue to feel that they're being appreciated and that we're serving them at the level that they're looking for. And majority of small businesses say that more than 50% of revenue comes from that repeat loyal clients. But then I ask you, what is it that you're doing in your business to ensure that you're keeping those repeat loyal clients? Are you having conversations with your clients to find out what their goals are, what they're trying to achieve in the long term? And this last stat, I think, is where it kind of really hits home as far as like, what does this actually mean for your business? a 5% boost in customer retention can lead to up to a 95% increase in profits. Because as we all know, a majority of that marketing expense is just on getting that client in the door. But if you can keep them coming back to your practice over and over and over again, that's going to have the biggest impact in your business. So, what are the power of conversations, right? What are you doing to recognize, appreciate, listen, and ultimately just deliver for your loyal clients? How many people here are regularly surveying their clients? A couple, right? So it doesn't have to be something that's rocket science to find out what your clients really want. Of those people that are coming into your practice regularly, who has a wall that honors the clients that are coming over and over and over again? Does anyone have a wall? Okay. Do you have photos of clients there? Excellent. So many businesses miss out on that opportunity. Something I find fascinating. I'm not sure, has anyone ever been to like a bar workout class? I guess it's mainly for ladies, but I went once with my wife. Yeah. What I found fascinating is right as you walk in, they have different what? Bars, right? I think it's thickness of bar. And on that bar, what do? You sign your name, right? So if you've been to 100 classes, you sign on the, I'm in the 100 club up to 500 or 1,000, whatever it is, right? That's a very simple way that they're recognizing their clients. And then also, for the client that's coming in, they now have a goal that they're working towards. Hey, I want to get to that higher level. I want to be on that, honor wall. That's something we've done in my own business. We have an entire wall in our office. We have photos and quotes from our top clients so that not only does our internal team see who they're serving, but then we can also share that back to our client. Because we're a medical lab, right? So the doctor's not normally coming into our practice or into our business. We can show them, hey, we're honoring you at our internal headquarters so that our entire team understands how valuable you are to us and how much of an impact you're making with your clients. So a mentor of mine would always say, let me put this on a bumper sticker, right? Let me just simplify what this takeaway is. Ask your customers what they want, deliver what they want. Have those surveys. Find out friction points. Find out the things that they love about your business. Find the things that they wish they had. For those of you that are doing IVs in your business, how many of you make sure that you have a blanket in case the individual gets cold? I'm sure most of you, right? Yeah, you got it, because otherwise you start getting a little cold and shaky, right? So it's things like that that you understand, hey, this is something I can do to remove that friction point. This is something I can do to make sure my client feels appreciated, comfortable, and wanting to come back. And it doesn't always have to be like, a limo and like crazy fireworks every time they walk in. It's really the smallest things consistently done that'll have them stay there as a client for you. So every client journey starts with a conversation. A good conversation is going to make sure to cover three things. Number one, it has to build trust. The second thing, which I think is one of the most important, is it uncovers the needs. And the third is it creates connections. So the reason I highlight the uncover the needs, because that's what you need to make sure that you're delivering to your clients. So what is it that you can do to make sure that as you're uncovering their needs, that you're then sharing back to them the timeline, so you can set that proper expectation. I feel it for myself, as I just go out and about, being a consumer and engaging with businesses, I find it fascinating how few businesses say what they're going to do and do what they say they're going to do, right? Has anyone else experienced that where you're like, okay, we're going to give you this thing, it's going to be overnight shipping, it'll arrive tomorrow 11 a.m. Yet tomorrow 11 a.m. hits, and what are you missing? The thing that you need, right? It blows my mind, the promises that businesses make and don't keep. So I share this with you because I don't want you to feel like this is something that's going to overwhelm you. I don't want you to feel like this is something that you can't already achieve in your practice. But first, it just has to begin with that conversation. So what is it that you're doing to kind of have a better understanding of what they're looking for, so that as you're going through that initial onboarding process, you're understanding what that scorecard is between you. Another mentor of mine told me that if you don't have a scorecard, you don't know who's winning, and you don't know what you're playing for, right? So do you have some kind of a mutual scorecard with your client to understand here's where they came in, here are the challenges that they have, here's where they want to be, and here's where the milestones and progresses that you're going to help them get to that. And of course, in managing that expectation, do you have that timeline, letting them know, hey, it's not going to happen tomorrow, but it will happen over this period. And you're going to notice these things as that progresses. For ourselves in our business, something that we've implemented is a symptom checklist. Because when someone comes in to get our testing, ultimately they're looking for an insight to start feeling better. So we want to understand, okay, what are your symptoms? What are the chronic things that you're experiencing over and over and over again? So they write those out, right? And we put a number value to it. You experience this like, maybe once in a while. You experience this a lot. We get a number value to it. Then, as time progresses, we then go, okay, 30 days later, let's see how you're doing. They fill it out again. We start seeing the areas that they're improving in. Now, we both have a mutual scorecard that takes out, the opinions of what's going on and just puts it down to a nice factual example of seeing, okay, here's where I began. I have, whether my symptom checklist score is 150, a lot going on. Now, after 30 days, I'm down to 30. Awesome. And then they feel heard and recognized, okay, all right, these are all my issues. You're helping me with these issues. And then for the clinicians out there, you can then have other modalities where you go, oh, okay, this was able to help with this thing, but you're still having challenges over here. I recommend using this product or service. It'll be a lot easier to onboard this client into that because they see that you're paying attention to them, right? They've got zones that they're looking to improve upon. There's certain zones that may not be moving the way they want. You know of a modality that you can implement to help solve that. So I only have a few more minutes here. I just want to hit a couple key takeaways, right? Trust is built conversation by conversation. If your clients are just coming into your practice, doing whatever they want, and then just walking back out, but you're not checking in with them, you're not taking a few moments to let them know that you appreciate them, check into how they're doing for what they thought they were going to get versus what they're actually feeling, you're missing a huge opportunity there. Because in having those conversations, you can then start building up not only additional referrals by letting them know, hey, I see you, I'm helping you, I'm working with you, but then also understanding what products are they looking for? What is your client going outside of your business to purchase? Is it something that potentially you could incorporate into your business? Just the other day, we were meeting with a future client, and he has an unbelievable fitness center, and he realized that he's referring tons of business out to do kind of like recovery stuff, compression therapy, cryotherapy, all these things. And he realized, you know what? In my next build out, I'm just going to incorporate that because why not just put it all under one roof where I can offer that? It starts to make a lot of sense because you realize all of my clients are coming in, working out incredibly hard, and they need help recovering. And I'm sending them out to this other place when I could just simply build that in myself, and it'll make a lot of sense for me financially, and then also to my client. Because why leave your client out in the cold to try to figure out where to go and where to get that next product or service? They already trust you. They already know you. They already want to continue to work with you. So what frictions can you remove from your clients? That's something I really want you to think about is what is a friction point, something that is a challenge for them, something that takes another step for them to get where they want to be in their wellness that you can potentially help them with. I feel like all of us have a moral obligation to help people, right? One of my mentors said, if you know that people need 8 glasses of water a day and you sell water and you see someone walking by and you don't say something to them, hey, would you like to buy some water I have here? I know you need 8 glasses. I've got one right here for you, right? If you don't say that, you're leaving that person to get dehydrated, to then have to figure out, oh, where else will I find this service that I need? So take the time to talk with your clients, find out friction points that are going on in their health journey and ways that you can help solve it for them. So thank you all so much for having me. Please take a moment, stop by our booth and have a conversation with us. See if there's something that maybe is going on in your business that we can help brainstorm with you and assist you in finding out that way to have better conversations with your clients, continue to improve your client retention so that ultimately you can boost your profitability and the way that you're serving those clients. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Boone.